Welcome to the Get Fit Guy's quick and dirty tips to get moving and shape up. My name is Brock Armstrong and I am the Get Fit Guy. In this episode of what I like to refer to as Undercover Fit Guy, I once again dig out my fake nose and my fake mustache to infiltrate the workout craze known as Pure Barre. My goal is to find out what Pure Barre is, how it works, and whether or not it is a good way to get fit. According to their website, Pure Barre is a total body workout that uses the ballet bar to perform small isometric movements which burn fat, sculpt muscles, and create long, lean physiques. Now, we'll get into my experience with the classes and my overall fitness impressions, but first, let's have a little bit of background. After I went undercover fit guy at Orange Theory, CrossFit, and Body Pump, I received a few emails asking my opinion of Pure Barre, and I really apologize for it taking me this long to get to it. But I finally signed up for 2 Pure Barre classes, the Classic class and the Empower class, both of which, I gotta say, left me pretty shaky and very sweaty. But first things first. For those of you who didn't grow up doing some sort of dance class or other and also managed to escape watching TV shows like Fame or Bunheads, let's clarify what exactly a bar, not a bar, is. It's pretty simple, actually. The bar is a horizontal pole, usually wooden like a staircase banister, that runs at about waist level, on which ballet dancers or other kind of dancers rest their hand or their foot for support during exercises. The bar usually runs along a wall, often with mirrors on it, but it can also be freestanding in the middle of a room. Okay, you got it? Good. Now, right off the bat, I have to hand it to Pure Barre for having a really easy-to-use website and a reasonable introductory offer. But unlike Orange Theory, though, which offered me a free trial that easily got turned into 2 free trials, I did have to pay for my classes, but $21 for a full week of unlimited sessions isn't that bad. And honestly, during my first class, I was so busy making sure I was doing the exercises right, I didn't really have time to form a solid opinion, so I really needed that second class. I was also happy that I took some time the night before my first class to do some reading up on Pure Barre etiquette. The fact that you can't wear shorts to their classes threw me for a bit of a loop. I mean, I run hot, and that means I sweat a lot, which means I like to work out in shorts and a tank top. I do own some running pants that I wear occasionally in the winter, but for my first class, I actually ended up wearing some woolen long johns that I usually wear under my snow pants while I'm skiing or snowshoeing. So, yeah, I was a sweaty mess. Sorry, ladies. Which actually leads me to a quick point that I want to make. I was the only dude in the class, and although the website's FAQ section makes it totally clear that men are absolutely welcome, over on the Our Story page of that very same website, it actually states, and I quote, "At Pure Barre, women share a sense of community in which they are inspired and empowered by each other's fitness and lifestyle goals." And I am 100% in favor of that. The empowerment of women is something that we need more of inside and outside of the gym. But I may have felt a little more sheepish about intruding on their space had I read that before I attended the class. Again, sorry ladies. In any case, I arrived in my long johns and a pair of socks, because they also insist that you wear socks, and I was ready to rock. Now, our instructor was a very friendly young woman who quickly got our waivers signed and the basics covered, showed us where the cubbies were, where the bathrooms were, and for my first class, called the Classic Workout, she equipped us with a medium-sized ball, a double resistance tube, and some comedically small dumbbells in 2 pounds, 3 pounds, or 5 pounds. Now, I opted for the 5 pounds, and I did not regret it. For my second class, the Empower workout, we skipped the tubing and the ball and instead picked up some small risers and some ankle and wrist weights. Similar to the beginning of a yoga class, we were told to find a spot on the oddly carpeted floor with enough room to swing our arms out to the sides. The music was switched on and we began our workout. Now, I won't bore you and potentially violate some non-disclosure agreements by taking you through each workout blow by blow, but I will sum them up like this. First, we did a brief but effective full body warm-up, kind of like a aerobics class. Then we did some upper body isometrics with and without those tiny weights. Then we did some upper body exercises, again with and without the weights, done in small muscle pulses. Then we did some core work like planks and side bends and crunches. Then we did some lower body isometrics in the middle of the room and at the bar. Then we did some lower body exercises in the middle of the room and at the bar again, done in pulses. Then we did some short stretching, mostly of the legs. Then we finished with some ab work, mostly crunches. My first comment is that for a workout program that actually has the word bar in the title, we spent less than half of the workout at the actual bar. Now, my second comment is that I'm glad we didn't spend more time at the bar. Despite the fact that the movements were small and mostly isometric and small pulsing variety, I was using muscles that had not been awakened in years, or perhaps ever. Now, if you want to be humbled in a hurry, try putting your leg behind you. Then draw an imaginary circle in the air with your toes, rotating your leg from your hip for 60 seconds or so. Now, tie your legs together with a resistance band or strap on an ankle weight and try it again. Right? So, yes, suffice to say that although I wasn't challenged by the upper body work, the sculpt your arms section, or the core exercises called flatten your abs section, the hip and glute work called lift seat was over the top for me. Now, during my second class, I was able to glance around the room occasionally to get an idea of how things were going for the other attendees, and not surprisingly, everyone had a strength and a weakness. Where cranking out the push-up section for the classic workout was a piece of cake for me, many people struggled with that part. Where I fell apart doing seemingly endless reps of the seat lifts, others were completely rocking it with little to no effort required. Which leads me to the one thing that I did notice. There were a few people, clearly regulars, who moved through the class with extreme ease. And while I was sweating all over the carpeted floor, which is gross, but it's their fault for having carpet, well, they hardly even had to glance at the instructor to know what was coming next. And this is the first thing that concerns me about Pure Barre workouts. When an unfit individual begins a training program, their fitness level improves quite rapidly. But as they continue to do that workout and become fitter, the returns they get from that workout diminish. In a nutshell, as you become fitter, the amount of improvement drops as you approach your genetic limits. Now, you can think of it like this. As your fitness level increases, you need to do more to continue to make gains. When I'm designing a training program for someone I coach, I keep in mind that my clients' fitness levels will not continue to improve at the same rate as they become fitter and fitter. I need to continually challenge them by increasing the length of the workout, the intensity of the workout, the speed, the resistance, the distance, or any number of other variables. Now, the reason that I bring this up is that Pure Barre classes are a set length, either 45 or 50 minutes. The weights only go so high, 5 pounds for the dumbbells and 2 for the ankle and the wrist weights, and there is only one choice of resistance band available. So, although the class totally kicked my butt, and I do mean my butt this time, I could see myself plateauing in the not too distant future. To continue to improve, I would need to sneak in some heavier weights or some tougher resistance bands or do back-to-back classes to increase the length. All right, my other concern with Pure Barre workouts is their lack of functional movement. For the same reason that I'm not a fan of increasing your flexibility beyond the range that is necessary to move and keep moving through this world, I am also not a fan of perfecting movements that are so out of the norm that they serve no practical purpose. Doing a full squat movement is something that I encourage everybody to do on a daily basis. This is due to the fact that we, as humans, will always want to pick objects up off the floor or get down to eye level with a child or an animal or simply get ourselves on and off the floor. On the other hand, the squatting that we were practicing in these Pure Barre classes was aesthetically pleasing, but functionally incompatible with everyday life. I mean, how many times do you go into a half squat, stop, pulse twice, pop your heels off the ground, and then come back up again? Now, okay, as someone who has been seen doing bicep curls, speaking of a not particularly functional movement, I get the idea that sometimes we do an exercise for vanity's sake. I know that pull-ups will work my biceps pretty darn well at the same time as maintaining that important ability to be able to lift my own body mass up and out of danger. But damn, if I don't appreciate the way my arms look when I finish one of those bicep curl complexes. So I'm not going to harp on this point too much. I will just encourage anyone who is doing Pure Barre more than once a week to ensure that they get some good, functional movement outside of the class, the same way that I make sure that I do a few pull-ups every time I pass under the bar in my office doorway. Now, after my first class, I had the opportunity to pick the instructor's brain, and I brought up the fact that we spent a lot more time working on our legs, our hips, and our glutes than we did on any other body parts. Now, she explained to me that each instructor has a slightly different variation on the basic Pure Barre exercises that they put together on their own. She went on to say that she has moved her focus to the lower body due to popular demand. I found this of particular interest, but I'm also torn as to why. Now, part of me thinks that this demand was likely due to the notion that 99% of the Pure Barre attendees are women who generally shy away from upper body exercises, and I apologize to those of you who don't. Whether it's human instinct to avoid things we aren't immediately good at, or if it's because of that irrational fear of bulking up that so many women seem to have. Now, the other part of me thinks that this demand might be because of the growing body of knowledge around the fact that we spend far too much time sitting these days, which is leading to an epidemic of weak hips, glutes, and legs. Giving that part of the body some serious attention at least a couple of times a week for 30 to 40 minutes is certainly a move in the right direction. Now, in the end, I guess it doesn't matter which reason spurred this change. The end result is that Pure Barre workouts, at least at this location, are helping to keep the good people of Kitsilano's lower bodies mobile and strong. All right, my Pure Barre conclusion is that I enjoyed the workout. I got pretty stiff and sore and was forced out of my comfort zone. So I consider that to be a huge win. Unlike some of the other gym fads out there that seem a little repetitious and simple, Orange Theory and Body Pump, I'm looking at you, Pure Barre engaged new muscle groups. It challenged my coordination, my balance, my memory, my listening skills, and also poked at some neuromuscular connections that have been on vacation, well, since that Zumba class that I took in 2011. While I wouldn't suggest that anyone rely solely on Pure Barre for all of their exercise needs, for the reasons that I listed so far and more, I believe in the value of throwing your body a curveball every once in a while. And for a guy like me who primarily lifts, runs, swims, and cycles, this was certainly a curveball. One that actually opened my mind and my hips. Now, for more bar info, glute tips, and to join in the pure conversation, head over to facebook.com/getfitguy or twitter.com/getfitguy. And also, you can find me at brockarmstrong.com. Now, my name is Brock Armstrong, and I am the Get Fit Guy, asking you, what are you waiting for? Get out of your comfort zone.
This episode is brought to you by Macmillan, our publisher. This year, Macmillan turned 175 years old. And to celebrate, we brought together Macmillan employees to share their favorite stories of working here. From publishing best-selling books
And I just remember seeing them across the concourse. And I started running up to them. I'm like, you're number one, you're number one. And we all started jumping up and down.
To making a difference in the world.
Of all the books that I've worked on, I feel like this book, more than any other, has changed people's lives. And that's an incredible opportunity.
To the impact working here has on our own lives.
You know, being at Macmillan was kind of a big part of our story to begin with.
We officially listed our location on the marriage certificate as the Flatiron Building, and we couldn't find any others that matched in the records. So
we're just going to go ahead and say that we're the first to actually get married in the Flatiron Building.
Macmillan, bringing authors and readers together since 1843. For more stories of our long-standing history in the publishing business, follow us on social at Macmillan USA. That's MacMillan USA.